What is up, Pokemon fans? We are back with the Nugget Bridge International Friendly. It's USA versus Germany. We got to jump right into it, guys. It is a best-of-5 series. I am Justin Flynn here with Scott Glaza, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only.
Good to be here.
Up? How's it going, man? Okay, so it looks like let's jump into the teams here really fast, Scott, so that you can do your thing. We got from Aaron Zhang, Kangaskhan, Gardevoir, Heat, Rotom, Amoonguss, Gengar, and Hydreigon. You can't see them on screen. And here is Christoph. He's bringing the Hydreigon as well. Amoonguss, Tyranitar, Mawile, Garchomp, as well as a Heat Rotom.
Should be an interesting match here. You'd assume based on the Megas that Christoph probably has the better matchup here, but a lot of things to look at here, not a lot of time. We're probably just going to have to fly to the match here and kind of analyze this one on the fly a little bit. Really important match for Christoph to win also. With 5 games like this, falling down 2-0 for Germany would be really, really tough to come back from. So, an important match here for Captain America here, Aaron Cybertron Zhang, to try and take the lead for us, or keep the lead for America.
That is very true. I'm excited to see this one, Scott. Both of these players, a lot of accolades in their repertoire. So, both really skilled individuals. Let's see the lead here from, of course, Christoph. And he sends out 2 Pokemon. It's the Heat Rotom and Amoonguss lead, both shiny. Look at those 2 beautiful Pokemon. And from Aaron Zhang, the Hydreigon shiny as well, and an Amoonguss. So both players leading with the Mushroom.
Apparently a good choice here. It's good against both of their Megas, so not too surprising to see the Amoonguss leading here, though. Both sides are smart enough not to lead off with the Mega Pokemon there. I think the Rotom lead is definitely the better position to be in right now, just because of how easily it deals with enemy Amoonguss. But Hydreigon can do a bunch of damage to Rotom, too. We don't know its item yet. If it is Choice Specs, it has the chance of knocking out Rotom in a single hit. So, unless the enemy Amoonguss wants to Rage Powder there, it could be an advantage for Aaron, depending on his item. A lot of information we don't have here, and that's sort of the fun of a game one. Like the players, we got to figure stuff out here. So both sides probably going to need to play this a little bit conservatively, since they could both be in a lot of danger here, depending on what their opponent has.
I agree with you there, Scott. Now, we do see the switch on Rotom. We see the switch on Amoonguss. That Rotom, of course, threatening it. And Rotom comes in for Aaron this time. Now, we see the Protect from Christoph up there, and a Fire Blast, a big Fire Blast, landing on that Amoonguss, doing almost enough damage to take it out, but it holds on and gets a Spore off, a big Spore on turn 1.
Yeah, really important survival there. Christoph avoiding falling down 4-3 on the first turn. We do learn that that's definitely Choice Specs. There's no way it would have done that much damage without it. An excellent prediction by Aaron, though. He has to take the Spore in order to deal all that damage, which is a little bit unfortunate, since he does have Rotom to deal with, the Amoonguss for him. But a smart play there, expecting the Protect on Rotom, staying ahead there. Pretty good damage. Smart play. The only thing now is that with the Amoonguss so weak, it's a little. It's going to be tough for both Rotoms to really accomplish much here. They're not going to do a whole lot of damage to each other, and Hydreigon resists all the standard moves in Rotom as well. So a little bit of a dead turn probably for both sides. They're going to need to switch or just stall some time here, which I guess is advantageous for Aaron, trying to get rid of those sleep turns.
Very true there, Scott. Now we see the switch out of Amoonguss. For Christoph, he brings in Tyranitar, going to set up the Sandstorm with that Sandstream ability, and will do a little bit of damage to the rest of the Pokemon on the field at the end of turns there. And still asleep is Hydreigon, unfortunately. No wake up for Aaron this turn, and a giant Thunderbolt landing on Rotom, but not doing a lot of damage. He's able to eat that up, and a little back and forth there, but that Thunderbolt going onto Tyranitar, and a little bit of damage to each Pokemon as the Sandstorm hits.
Yeah, nothing too exciting there. Aaron does get to kill a turn of sleep, which is a big deal. And now every turn from now on, Hydreigon will have a chance of waking up. Tyranitar getting out there for Christoph's a big deal, though, since it finally is a Pokemon on the field that could actually exert some offensive pressure here. Can do a ton of damage to both Rotom and Hydreigon, and neither of those Pokemon are really going to be able to do much back. We've seen that Hydreigon is almost certainly locked into Fire Blast, so it's probably going to want to switch out here unless Aaron's going to try to sacrifice it. And that's probably not going to be a viable choice for him, since he'd be throwing Rotom to the wolves as well by leaving it out there. So, tough spot for Aaron now. He's got the health lead with a little more damage on Tyranitar than on his own Rotom, and so much damage on Amoonguss. But he's going to have to pay for it now and take some damage back as he switches into better position.
Yeah, this is going to be a clutch switch turn potentially for Aaron here. We do see the pull on the Hydreigon as expected, And he brings in Smart Dog, Lucario. Lucario the Smart Dog. That's a great switch there. As long as hopefully there's no fire type attacks going that way. Now we see the Mega Tyranitar come out, a Pokemon that I believe we haven't seen very often recently. And a Rock Slide going to do a ton of damage to that Rotom. Is it going to get the feint? Yes, it does. Rotom goes down. He falls and goes back to Aaron Zhang.
Yeah, surprising there. I wasn't expecting the Mega Tyranitar.
Oh no, and the overheat right onto that Lucario. I believe also potentially going to pick up the feint here. Yep, there it is, and he gets the feint on Lucario as well. One shot, back to Aaron Zhang, commanding lead early on in this match.
Yeah, absolutely massive play by Christoph there. I mean, the Rock Slide KO and Rotom, you kind of expect him to pick up, but that overheat is really daring. I guess he's kind of making the same conclusion that I was there, that obviously he's not going to leave the Fire Blast locked sleeping Hydreigon in, so he takes a chance with the overheat there, hopes Aaron doesn't have fire resistance in the back, and which I guess he can't with the team he has, and just completely annihilates Lucario for free there. A huge knockout, and will almost definitely take the game with ease because of it.
All right, Scott, maybe you can do me a big favor and run over some of the moves for me real fast while I get my feedback up. So I apologize. I will do my best to get that going again, guys.
It looks like I am missing it also. So I apologize for the technical difficulties here. Hopefully it's just the stream and the players haven't disconnected. But I guess we'll take a moment to figure out what's happening here. We do know that Aaron just has the Sleeping Hydreigon and an unrevealed final Pokemon right now to take on all four of Christoph's Pokemon, so likely lost first game either way. Hopefully, Aaron's taking the time here to figure out what he's going to do in game 2.
All right, it does look like Aaron is still actually selecting. That's what I'm seeing on my screen right now. But I believe he's only got 2 Pokemon left, so I don't know if he'd be taking too much time to choose his Pokemon. Of course, like we said earlier, Scott, both of these trainers have huge accolades, right? These guys are crazy talented.
Yeah, 9 Worlds invitations between the two of them, which is it's hard to imagine a matchup of 2 trainers you'd find more than that. It does look like we finally have a feedback here, down to 2-3 now, but a big advantage for Christoph.
All right, I did get my feed as well. We see the Hydreigon and Amoonguss, and now I'm seeing an Amoonguss with a Giga Drain onto that Tyranitar, and then the Rotom taking a little bit of damage, I think, from the Sandstorm. That's where I'm at right now. I'm seeing Sandstorm hit everybody.
Yeah, Dark Pulse from Hydreigon there went into Rotom's Protect, so a dead turn other than that. Looks like Amoonguss managed to put Tyranitar to sleep here while we were lagging out a little bit, so Aaron manages to make this a competitive match at least. Dark Pulse likely not going to one-shot the Rotom here, so he's going to need the flinch to stay in it.
Oh, he wakes up, though. What is that, a 1-turn sleep? Rough turn there. And the Rock Slide doing a ton of damage. Rotom does flinch, though, I believe. I might have caught that just out of the corner of my eye there. I'm getting a touch of lag, and I see a Giga Drain again.
Yeah, so he does get the big flinch there. The 1-turn wake-up, a little unfortunate for Aaron there. He likely got a quick wake-up himself, judging by the fact that we were only out a turn or two, and Hydreigon's awake now and seems to have picked up a knockout. So all's fair that way. The short sleeps in both directions. It's hard to imagine Aaron's solution to this battle now, though. Hydreigon likely in Thunderbolt range from Rotom, so he really, really can't ignore it anymore. But allowing it to attack again will likely cause a knockout here, so he might have to go for the flinch and Tyranitar this time.
Wow, actually ends up picking up the feint on Tyranitar. That was a huge turn for Aaron. Had to get rid of him there. Amoonguss with Spore, but the Rotom protects itself. Aaron not in the worst position here in what looks to be one of the final turns. Oh no, but we do see the Salamence. Oh no.
Yeah, Salamence going to create some problems for Aaron here.
I spoke too soon, it would appear, Scott.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to give Aaron credit. This game's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, but yeah, trouble now. Likely going to need a Draco Meteor miss from Salamence to stay in the game here. Since a Thunderbolt from Rotom would knock out Hydreigon, he has to get to a situation where he can knock out one of the 2 Pokemon here and either have both of his remaining or at least have or at least be left with just Hydreigon and Rotom. I guess it's what I'm trying to say here. It's tough to imagine a situation where Aaron has enough attacks to get through this, because Amoonguss can't really do anything useful here but Rage Powder, right? Dark Pulse from Hydreigon shouldn't one-shot Salamence unless it gets a critical hit. So Christoph does likely have this one, an excellent last Pokemon choice for him. But Amoonguss can probably take 2 attacks with Rage Powder here. So we should see 1 more attack from Hydreigon here, but it likely needs 2. So would have to get a miss somewhere.
Well, you were right on the money there, Scott. We do see the Rage Powder. However, it's a big Rock Slide from Salamence, just wanting to get rid of that Hydreigon, I believe. And an Overheat from the Rotom, who's going to do the business onto that Amoonguss. I think that he should pick up the feint there, down to 0 health. Amoonguss goes back to Aaron Zhang, and that is match 1. Of course, guys, it is a 2 out of 3, so Aaron's going to have to analyze this battle and turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't be too bothered by that game, honestly, if I was Aaron. I'm sure he's beating himself up for switching that Lucario into the Overheat. But considering that he pretty much lost like 2 entire Pokemon on that turn, that game was actually pretty competitive. He got some, I guess both sides got some useful information there. Probably a little surprised to see the Rock Slide from Salamence. We're not seeing that as often as we used to, but definitely a good choice there, and one that was a game winner for Christoph. He took out some of the chance there and didn't have to play the Mon games he might have had to otherwise. Aaron didn't really get a Mega that game, since the Mega he brought was presumably Lucario, who got to, or never got to actually play out any turns there. So considering the situation, I think not the worst way that game could have gone for Aaron, I guess. So probably a little heartened, but he's going to have to play better in the second game. A nice first turn in game 1 by Aaron, but the rest of the game dominated by Christoph there. But both players, I guess, showing why they've got so much Worlds experience, right? Some excellent plays by both sides there.
Yeah, it really was. It definitely, even though, like you said, Aaron was a little bit behind, there was enough back and forth there to make it a game. At any moment, really, it seems like either of these competitors would be able to potentially turn something around. Now, I do have a correction really fast, guys. I believe that earlier we got a team from Aaron, but I believe he made a couple adjustments at the very end there. His team is actually Gardevoir, Heat Rotom, Amoonguss, Hydreigon, Aerodactyl, and Lucario. So no Kang, like I had mentioned earlier, and no Gengar. Yeah,
I mean, having Lucario there rather than Kangaskhan definitely makes the matchup a little more interesting. I don't know that I'd think Mega Lucario or Mega Maul really has the advantage on the other. I think whichever one gets sent out second tends to have the advantage there. If Lucario isn't intimidated, it can absolutely pulverize Maul. But if it is intimidated, Maul can trade pretty well with it thanks to how frail it is. So a lot of this game, I guess, much like the first game, is going to come down to positioning. Which side can get their Pokemon out in the right order. I think Amoonguss, both sides, is a big deal. They both kind of have frailer Megas, but capable of huge amounts of damage. So important for both sides to protect the Mega there. They've got Intimidate. They've got Amoonguss, Rotom probably as Will-O-Wisp for both sides to kind of help protect them there. So it's going to be a game about protecting the most important Pokemon there, because lots of damage from both sides is coming out of the Megas.
Now, I believe that Aaron may potentially be switching over his feed to a different stream here. That's why it might be black for you guys. I'm not sure if you have anything on your screen. If you're not seeing anything, it looks like we're getting the switch here. All right, I think I have it. Scott, if you are able to pull that up too, we'll both be on the same page here.
Loading in.
Loading. I'm in. I know Kung Fu.
Well, the stream doesn't quite know Kung Fu yet, but it should be up soon. I think it's still treading under a waterfall at the moment. So sorry for the slowdown here. Hopefully the stream will be a little bit higher quality this round. I know the original streams have been on the always reliable Ustream, which I'm sure, based on watching this stream, everyone at home right now, they're probably downloading their Ustream apps onto their cell phones. They're very excited about the streaming platform, so we're glad to be able to advertise such a fantastic product. Stay on Twitch, friends. But hopefully the battle will be ready soon here, and I don't know. I guess I'm excited for the second game here. We've had 4 really excellent games so far between the 2 matches. Always fun when you get show matches between excellent players like this, and everybody here is showing why they've made the Worlds, I guess, this year or in the past for most of the Americans. No flukes here.
Yeah. Now, Ustream, of course. What's their slogan again? Ustream. We never lag. We never have lag. Well, real quick, actually, Scott. Well, we got a touch of time before this match. Don't forget the next one on deck is going to be Wolf Glick, I believe, versus Baris Akos, and also two very, very strong players. That'll be the next match. Another 2 out of 3 right after this. But we do potentially still have 2 more matches from this one if Aaron can take a match off of Aaron can take a match off of Christoph here.
Yeah, I'm hoping all these series go to 3 games. Really excellent players. Like to see what all they can do. The next one should be fun, though. Wolf Glick, definitely the second most accomplished American player of all time. And I guess if he was born in any other country, he would have the moniker of being the most accomplished player from his country. But hard to outshine the 3-time world champion. But, Wolf, a 2-time national champion, finished second in 2012 Worlds, and I think probably one of the big favorites to win U.S. Nationals again this year. So definitely something to look forward to next match. And against his opponent, Barris, there, had a really impressive showing in Vancouver. I wasn't really sure what to expect from him there, but he had one of the better finishes there. Finished in the top half of the field, so definitely someone who's capable of more than that this year, and should be a really interesting match. 2 players who are definitely on an upward swing compared to last year, I think, and who should likely make a big splash at Worlds this year.
Yeah, for sure. DC is going to be really, really fun and interesting. I'm actually excited. This is crazy. This is our first... It just kind of really dawned on me. I mean, I know this is no big surprise to anybody, but this is our first Nationals and Worlds in X and Y. I mean, that's something to get pretty crazy excited about.
Yeah, it should be really cool to see what we see. I know we've got some big surprises watching the Japanese national stream yesterday. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, Agility Zapdos is apparently the new metagame, so everybody make sure you get that in your games, get that ready for U.S. Nationals. Since if it worked in Japan, it'll work everywhere. But I mean, it'll be cool to see what metagame innovations everyone come with. I mean, especially at the World Championships. If you've got anything really cool that you're trying to keep hidden, that's a tournament you busted out with and try to break the format. I can't remember the last time we saw something at Worlds that was super crazy, or I guess last time we didn't see something at Worlds that was super crazy. Last year we had Sajin Park going 6-0 in Swiss with Magmar of all things, and the year before that, Wolf very nearly won the tournament with Executor. So I'm excited to see what there is this year. I know every year we've kind of had something amazing break the format, and this year's been a little more constricted. There hasn't been a whole lot of really amazing innovation, so I'm excited to see what we see this season. Hopefully,
oh, sorry, what were you gonna say, Scott?
No, go ahead. No.
Oh no, I was just thinking, it's true. I was really excited coming into this today. I was just kind of like, are we going to see any previews of Nationals? But at the same time, I was like, none of these guys are going to bring their Nationals team. We're going to see something, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, the timing is a little unfortunate that way, with the Americans probably wanting to hide a little bit more. But I'm thinking, everybody still wants to win this, right? So even if they're not using what they're going to use at Nationals, where they might be a little more innovative trying to get the actual CP, everyone's using a team that they're pretty comfortable with. I'm noticing, especially on the American side, from what I've heard of some of the teams, people are using stuff that they definitely know how to use, right? So it should be high-level matches, I guess, even if it's not super innovative yet.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with you there, Scott, and that is true. Like, if they were coming in here with a bunch of new teams, we'd be seeing all kinds of weird stuff going on. But that's why these matches have been so crazy close. These trainers know their teams. Now let's take a look again. Want to remind you guys what we got on screen here. We have the Salamence, who played a huge role in that previous win there, as well as we got Amoonguss, Tyranitar, Mawile, Garchomp, Heat Rotom from Christoph, and Aaron Zhang. Again, we can't see it on screen, but Aaron's got some pretty strong Pokemon himself. It's Gardevoir, Heat Rotom, Amoonguss, Hydreigon, Aerodactyl, and Lucario, who we saw fall to that Overheat.
Yeah, I guess looking at team preview a little bit longer now, and actually realizing that Aaron has Lucario on his team, probably not that surprising that he coughed up Lucario so easily. It's going to be a really, really challenging game to get anything done with Lucario. We do see that Christoph has the Mega Tyranitar, Mega Mawile combination here. Very daring to have brought Mega Tyranitar against a team that's obviously playing Mega Lucario, but it's really tough to actually accomplish anything with Lucario against this team. The Salamence, presumably Choice Scarfed, has Intimidate. Amoonguss, a big problem for it since Rage Powder plus basically anything is going to disrupt it. Garchomp, faster until the Mega Evolution, has the Earthquake. It's tough to bring Lucario in. if I was Aaron, I would seriously consider never switching it in. Like, either bring it out immediately, Mega Evolve, just to get that speed boost immediately, or, just bring it in after a KO, because trying to bring it in against this team, there's going to be very, very few easy opportunities.
I agree with you there. It is really tough. We do see the Aerodactyl Gardevoir lead there, looking to be pretty strong, actually, against the combo of Garchomp and Amoonguss from Christoph.
Yeah, interesting first turn here. We see Aerodactyl again after having a pretty big impact on some of the matches in the first series. Likely to see a similar set from Aaron here. And then Gardevoir, who we haven't seen yet, but definitely one of the most popular Pokemon in this format. We saw a ton of it at Japanese Nationals last night. Very effective against dragon types in general. A little bit better against the special dragons than the physical ones. So Garchomp not quite in as much of a jam here as he could be. But interesting note, too, that if he chooses to use it, Skydrop here will ignore Rage Powder, but no Rage Powder at all.
Yes, that is true. Skydrop does ignore Rage Powder. Boom, a big Dragon Claw onto Aerodactyl, takes him down to about, I think, 48 health there, but the Moonblast hitting back onto that Garchomp. One shot, he goes down right back to Christoph, and he goes down. That's my Pokemon Stadium training there. And he goes down.
Yeah, it was a one-hit wonder on that play there. Excellent play by Aaron, too. I guess it's kind of a difficult prediction there to figure out, okay, do I want to Psychic the Amoonguss and try to pick up that KO and Skydrop Garchomp, or do it the other way around? I think the way he did it is probably smarter. Interesting, too, we don't get Gardevoir's item there. It could still be... I guess we do get it, right? So it moved for... no, we don't. So since it moves second, there's a decent chance of choice specs. If it is, lots of danger for Tyranitar there, especially since Amoonguss is going to have a harder time protecting it with Aerodactyl out there. Kind of seeing the power of Aerodactyl. A lot of teams using the less common Mega Pokemon this year are really built around supporting those non-common Megas, because part of the reason they're less popular is they take more of that support. They're a little harder to get going. Once they do get going, they're sometimes stronger than the more common choices like Kangaskhan. But Aerodactyl is really disruptive to other support Pokemon here, so it's going to be tricky for Christoph to find a way to actually get Tyranitar going this time, especially since he probably still has to worry about Aaron's Mega Lucario in the back.
Yeah, that steel typing matchup is not one that that he would like to see. We do see him go Mega, though, on turn one. The Rage Powder from Amoonguss, as expected. What are we going to get from this Aerodactyl? Skydrop, though. Is he going to grab the Amoonguss? He does. He pulls him up anyway. And the Crunch Down from Garchomp onto that Gardevoir. No, she doesn't like that. 51 health left, and her defense falls as well. But the Will-O-Wisp trying to shut down that physical Tyranitar. Great call from Aaron.
Yeah, we do learn that Gardevoir is not choice specs, but does get the burn off there, likely using a slightly more defensive set. I'll be a little curious to see the item there. I guess we do, though. It's leftovers. Okay, so get that answer there. I was a little surprised when I saw it wasn't goggles and it wasn't a choice item, but that makes sense. And it wasn't citrus either. Okay, so Burn Tyranitar is going to have a much harder time doing anything for the rest of this battle. A vastly reduced offensive presence. With the defense drop, it could definitely finish off Gardevoir this turn if it would like to, though I wouldn't be surprised to see it Rock Slide instead and try to pick up them both. Really important for Christoph to try to get that Aerodactyl off the field and not have to worry about Skydrop anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Scott. Skydrop does come through, drops that Amoonguss doing a lot of damage. Tyranitar actually crunching again, though, decides not to go for the spread attack and wants to get rid of Gardevoir. Can she hang on? No, down to 0 HP. Even with the burn, Tyranitar strong enough to get that. And the Amoonguss Spore. So no worries there. He knew he would be able to get that Spore off and got it on the Aerodactyl there. So he's night-night time for Aerodactyl.
Yeah, potentially a better play there. By using Spore instead of knocking out Aerodactyl, he kind of has it wasting a turn on the field here. Because Aerodactyl moved first, it can't wake up this turn, so he knows he's got a non-threatening Pokemon in that slot if Tyranitar wants to do something like Dragon Dance. The cost of that is that if he does ignore Aerodactyl and it wakes up, it could cause some pretty serious problems for him, and we see Lucario out here. He does get that free switch this time. If it is a physical Lucario, it's going to take a bunch of damage from knocking out Amoonguss here, since we've seen that Rocky Helmet already, but pretty good positioning for Lucario this time. And because Lucario is out and creating all this threat, Tyranitar probably isn't going to want to do something like Rock Slide Aerodactyl here and give the free turn to Lucario. So Christoph's probably going to have to tempt fate here. It's likely that Aerodactyl's going to survive a turn. If it doesn't stay out here and wake up, it's probably going to be a game for Aaron. So the sleep roll could be really important in this one.
Definitely, that's going to be one of the bigger things here. And I'm just making sure my feed is caught up. Sorry, Scott, if I missed anything for you there, buddy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It's Christoph's kind of on the back foot the same way Aaron was in the previous game, even though it's not as far behind. With Burn Tyranitar there, he's just going to have a hard time doing damage.
Yeah, I would agree with you. He does end up pulling the Amoonguss there. It brings in that All-Star Rotom, that All-Star Heat Rotom from last game that got that Lucario still looks like he's shivering a little bit from that overheat, but he does go Mega. Lucario looking super sweet with that headband. Aerodactyl still out cold, and a close combat onto Rotom H. Not quite enough to get the job done, and the defense falls for Lucario. Big Dragon Dance from Tyranitar, so he's getting set up here.
Yeah, Tyranitar does get going here. It gets that level of attack. Makes it a little bit more threatening now, since with the boosted attack, if he does have a move that can do better than resisted damage to Lucario, it'll be threatening it quite a bit. He still has the burn on him, but a level of boosted attack, and Lucario is a level of reduced defense, so given that it's pretty frail to begin with, there's some amount of threat there. The real thing Lucario has to worry about now is getting Rock Slide flinched, since if it does get flinched here, it would likely get blown up by Rotom. Though with Rotom only having one turn before it faints to sand, I would be really surprised if Lucario did attack here. At the risk of giving a free switch to Amoonguss, it's probably the smarter play just to ignore it. But proving it is a smart dog, it gets that close combat off on Rotom there. Does a bunch of damage without having to worry about it. And this time it's Lucario jumping Rotom in the switch there. I guess both of them are a little afraid to fight each other, trying to knock each other before they even get a chance to fight this time. They're sucker punching both ways in the metaphorical sense rather than a literal one.
Yes, metaphors. They keep the world turning. All right, let's see here. Aerodactyl, big turn for him. Is he going to wake up? Is the question. Aerodactyl, what are you going to do? Don't take the big sleep, buddy. Both players taking to the final moments here to make the decision. Of course, it's being a crucial turn, but both players have a Pokemon that are about to faint, so it's really important.
A really tense turn. I guess it can show you that, even for the most experienced players, sometimes they know they have to really think out those important turns. This turn will probably decide the battle.
Oh, there it is, the Rotom switch for Christoph. Who's he going to bring in? It looks like the Amoonguss comes back, and with quite a bit of HP there. And the Protect from Aerodactyl wakes up, and Protect as well from a Smart Dog, the Lucario. So no damage to Aaron's team this turn. Gets a Scout, but the free switch in for Christoph.
Yeah, like I mentioned, the threat of, or I guess not the threat, but the risk of trying to finish off Rotom to Sands there is that it's a very predictable play. You'd expect Lucario to protect there. Christoph does as well and gets the free switch there. You see Amoonguss healing up with its Regenerator ability, and suddenly it's got high enough HP, but it's actually going to create some amount of problem for Lucario. Aaron does get another one-turn sleep here. It doesn't seem like any Pokemon's tired in this battle. So Aerodactyl, likely it's going to be bait here, I guess.
Yeah, big Rock Slide gets rid of that Aerodactyl, so no more from him today. He goes back to Aaron Zhang, to his trainer Aaron Zhang there, and a close combat from Lucario, probably going to be enough to finish off. Definitely gets the feint there on that Tyranitar, who was hanging on by a thread with that burn, and Tyranitar feints, heading back to Christoph. And Amoonguss Spore, though, putting that Lucario to sleep.
Yeah, I've been talking about overkill on that poor Tyranitar there. It was pretty weak to begin with. That close combat from Mega Lucario, I mean, wow, it probably fainted about 6 times there. Big sleep on Lucario there. Finally, this has it under control a little bit. The most important thing in that play, though, is probably the fact that Sandstorm expired, so Christoph was able to stall just long enough that he didn't knock out his own Rotom with sand there, and now that Aerodactyl isn't on the field, we see the enemy Rotom consuming that citrus berry, no longer unnerved.
Berry tastes good. Yeah, he did not want to eat that earlier. He got too scared.
Yeah, lucky for Rotom there. That big scary rock Aerodactyl thing is gone. We did
oh no, I can't possibly eat my berry right now. There's an Aerodactyl on the field.
Hey, these things are scary, man. We did learn last game that Hydreigon can knock out Amoonguss with Fire Blast from here. We will likely see it lock into this. I'm not sure if Rotom will be able to survive one or not.
All right, though, a Protect we see from Christoph. The Draco Meteor, massive, going to do some massive damage to that Amoonguss. Is it going to be enough? Amoonguss at about 75% HP, down to 0. Wow, Hydreigon hitting like a truck, I was going to say, but he kind of dropped like meteors. So hitting like a meteor, doing a lot of damage to Amoonguss, leaving the Rotom there all by his lonesome.
Yeah, it's like,
oh, there it is. It's quick.
Wow.
That was a fast.
There's time to think. Gotta go.
No thinking, only choosing. All right, Draco Meteor again. On to Rotom. I think it's going to be enough to finish him off. Rotom returning to its trainer, and Aaron Zhang tying it up. Can you believe it, Scott?
Another really fantastic game there. I love this series. Really, I think there's great pieces on both sides to win the game, right? So it all comes down to kind of getting that better positioning the first few turns. I've had a couple of clutch predictions. I thought that Aaron's lead that game was a great adaptation to what happened the first game, and yeah, he pretty much won the game, I think, before it even started there. Like, he started out in a much better position there, got a great first turn, got a great second turn, and it's really tough to recover when you fall behind in the first, because the first 3 turns, really, if you count Team Preview, is the first actual turn there. So I would hope both sides are going to take some time on Team Preview, figure out how to lead this game, because neither side wants to start out the way that Christoph kind of started out the last game. But both sides, I think, have won pretty decisive victories now. So we know that, both ways, there's ways they can pull it off here. Just a matter of having the right Pokemon out at the right time. And I think the other thing that really determined the first 2 battles was Lucario is very important for Aaron, and Rotom is very important for Christoph here. So they really need to not let each other, just do pretty close to 100% damage before they even get out there by taking so much on the switch this game.
Yeah, Scott, I totally agree with you. The key to battling in Pokemon, and I'm sure we don't have to say this to the viewers, is assessing your threats and getting rid of them. I think that's a huge deal. Who threatens the Pokemon that I don't have on the field right now, too, is a big thing. It's like, okay, I got to get rid of this Rotom. This Rotom. Speaking is hard. I got to get rid of this Rotom because he's going to body my Lucario or another Pokemon. So it's always important, assess your threats. That's kind of number 1 almost.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that both these players know very well, given their experience, but that maybe they didn't play optimally this match. They both get the idea of protecting their Megas. I mean, Aaron, I'm sure he knew he was making an aggressive play when he got Lucario blown up the first game. I think Christoph might want to conserve Rotom a little more carefully this time. He seems to be playing the game, focusing more on preserving his Mega, which makes sense because that's a sweeping threat, but I think that Rotom's going to be really important for removal of this game to knock out most of Aaron's threats. So he's really, I guess he has to pick one of Rotom and Garchomp and make sure he preserves that really well while using Tyranitar to be more of the sweeping threat, especially given how well it walls Hydreigon, which was a big deal for Aaron in both games. Really the only Pokemon in Aaron's team that was a big factor in both the first 2 games.
Yes, and now we do see the leads from both players here. I haven't seen the Mawile yet from Christoph, I don't know if we'll see it in this match. Christoph leading with the 2 shinies again, double shiny. Salamence and Rotom, or Heat Rotom, and Aaron leading with the Aerodactyl. Gets that Intimidate off, though, lowering the attack of Aerodactyl down by 1 stage, and the Hydreigon from Aaron.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm back in the land of Pokegen here. 3 shinies out of... too surprised to see both. I think MVP of Game 2 was the lone bright spot in Game 1. I was going to say, I do think there was an interesting point that you mentioned that Mawile hasn't got yet. I'm curious if we'll see. I think that Mawile, I guess I don't think. Mawile has a much better matchup against Mega Lucario than Mega Tyranitar does. But it's tough to bring this matchup as well, just because Amoonguss is pretty good against it. Aerodactyl is at least disruptive against it because of Rotom very good against it. So both sides kind of
I think we went full robot mode here.
And Lucario. Fantastic.
100% robot. We've lost him. He's gone full machine. Scott is no longer a man. He is a robot. Hopefully, I think that we'll get it figured out on our end, but I will walk you guys through what is going on in the match right now. It looks like Christoph getting rid of that Salamence there and bringing in the Mawile. We do see it. Another Intimidate shutting down that Aerodactyl. Intimidate also going off onto that Hydreigon, not doing a lot to that Hydreigon, of course, and the Tailwind getting set up, going to be really, really fast now, Aaron's team. And the Draco Meteor onto Heat Rotom. Going to do a lot of damage here. I think we saw it last time. Take it into the red. Oh my gosh, gets the one shot. Are you kidding me? Huge damage onto that Rotom. It goes back to Christoph and a great turn one from Aaron there.
Yeah, getting up to a huge lead there. Am I still roboting on you, or?
You're just a touch quiet, but I think you're okay. A lot better. He's okay. Scott's okay, everyone.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. I had to uninstall my robot parts, but there's a few still attached, I think. But as long as there aren't any cords to trip over, we should be okay. A huge first turn for Aaron there. I think I mentioned in the between games, both sides kind of started off with a big lead in each of the first games, and it was very difficult to recover from that. I actually feel like this is a more recoverable spot for Christoph's side than the previous two games were, so this one's definitely far from over. But a really peculiar spot on the field right now as you see both potential Megas in Christoph's side. Tyranitar obviously much better at fighting out of Mega form than Maul is here, so you would expect that Maul will be the one who Mega Evolve here unless he just wants to use his Intimidate support, but should be very interesting to see what we get here.
Yeah, the double Mega potential here is really interesting. Obviously, like you said, you can only Mega one, and you were correct. We do see the Mega Mawile there, so no longer able to Intimidate, but she does get that huge power ability, going to really boost that attack stat. And the Rock Slide from that Intimidated Aerodactyl probably won't do much to either of these two Pokemon, really doing about, it looks about to be 10 to 15 HP each, or hit points each. And we see the Draco Meteor again, even though that Hydreigon has its special attack lowered, it still does a lot. And the flinch, oh my gosh, no move there for Tyranitar, but the big Iron Head into Hydreigon takes it down to 38 health, and everyone gets buffeted by the Sandstorm, and by everyone I mean only Hydreigon.
Yeah, Hydreigon's feeling a little targeted here, like everybody else get this immunity. Pretty good turn for Christoph's side there. I'm not sure, I assume Aaron is just trying to sacrifice Hydreigon here because it's pretty easy to knock out here with the Sucker Punch now. Not especially valuable for the remainder of this game. So now that he's let it get into Sucker Punch range, he can't really use it to threaten Fire Blast on Mile safely unless Aerodactyl Skydrops first, but it looks like he's just going to go for the sacrifice here.
Yep, we do see that, but then again, no Sucker Punch, actually. Another Draco Meteor lands. Jeez Louise. Aaron, what do you got on that thing? Got some, what is he got a lens on there? How's he hitting that thing so accurately? I feel like I hit 1 out of every 7 of those things. But yeah, let's see what we get here. All right, the Sandstorm still up and buffets Hydreigon again, but sticks around surprisingly. Yeah,
Probably unfortunately, if you're Aaron. Christoph is smart enough to see what Aaron's doing here, and he's not cooperating with planned sacrifice Hydreigon. With all those special attack drops from Draco Meteor, Hydreigon's not really posing threat anymore, and it can't hit Maul at all with the move it's locked into. So Christoph's perfectly happy just to ignore it and let Tyranitar get some Dragon Dances here. Aaron is correctly targeting it down here, trying to weaken it as much as it can, but after that Aerodactyl Protect, he's going to have a really tough time actually doing anything here. Aerodactyl likely has Focus Sash, but could still be knocked out before it can attack now with the combination of Rock Slide and Sucker Punch, should Christoph choose to go that direction. So he may have ignored this just a little bit too long here. Momentum seems to be shifting from Aaron toward Christoph here.
Yeah, I agree. That was a big turn for Christoph, potentially predicting the, like you said, Aaron wanting to get that free switch in. Now we do see a Protect on Tyranitar there. And what's it going to be? A Sky Drop picks up Mawile, and Hydreigon going Draco Meteor, but the Protect, of course, on Tyranitar, and still taking more damage from that from that Sandstorm there. Taking down 16 health.
Yeah, particularly devious play by Aaron, though, because not only does Sky Drop stop Mawile from attacking for a turn, which probably doesn't matter, I guess, since it would have attacked Aerodactyl anyway. But it does, assuming Tyranitar got faster than Aerodactyl after the Dragon Dance, which it actually probably did not, because it's not Mega Evolved. But if it is faster, then it would be able to dodge a Rock Slide. But yeah, it looks like Aerodactyl is still quicker, so much for that, huh?
All right, we do see the sky drop and a big rock slide. Oh, the avoid! I didn't catch who dodged that one, but it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't High Dragon. I know that because he just fainted and is going back to into Ironhead. Going to get rid of Aerodactyl. Oh, down to 1 HP, but holds on. Focus Sash, the item on Aerodactyl there.
Yeah, potentially a very clutch survival. Aerodactyl does still have to worry about being knocked out by Sucker Punch here, but having that additional threat in the field might be nice for Aaron here. I suspect that if he wants to lose Aerodactyl, he'll have a fairly easy time getting rid of it here because the Sucker Punch should be incoming, but it's a little more tricky for Christoph now. He does have to concern himself with that Aerodactyl there because if it is able to stop Tyranitar from attacking Rotom there, easily can blow up Mawile. I forget if normal Tyranitar is too heavy to be skydropped. I know Mega Tyranitar is, so he may not even have that option, and Rock Slide likely not a KO from here. But if he does have Tailwind on that Aerodactyl, which is a pretty common move there, Protect and Tailwind could really flip the tables here and negate the advantage of Dragon Dance.
Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. It's going to be a really important turn, but then again, he actually ends up protecting, and the Sucker Punch goes down. It fails. Rock Slide, Aerodactyl protects. Oh, man, it's going to do a lot of damage to that Heat Rotom. Is it going to be enough to get rid of him? No, hangs on with 23 HP. Gets the Citrus Berry. Oh, my gosh. Rotom hanging on. Oh, he flinches and can't move. No! Rotom flinch from the Rock Slide.
Yeah, daring play by Aaron there. He chooses to try to just take the Rock Slide, knowing that Sucker Punch has to go on Aerodactyl because of the Rock Slide dodge in the previous turn. But it doesn't quite work out for him there. Not able to get that overheat on Mawile because of the flinch, and likely some trouble for Aaron now. Aerodactyl still can't attack because of Sucker Punch. Tyranitar will easily be able to finish Rotom off with any of its attacks. And other than the potential of that Protect Tailwind move to give Aaron another chance here, he is likely going to lose this one. We will probably see Aerodactyl's last move here if it's something useful at all, but hard to imagine much of a play otherwise.
All right, we see the Rotom protecting there. Aerodactyl does actually end up setting up that Tailwind like you had expected on the previous turn. He did end up protecting, but there we go. He sets that up. Dreamcatcher goes Ironhead. Dreamcatcher the Mawile. Ironhead takes out the Aerodactyl there. Rotom still manages to get another turn in here, but with that low HP, he might not stick around.
Yeah, I feel like the Tailwind's a turn too late. I guess it's still a winnable game, right? I mean, I guess the downfall of the way Aaron played this is that he put Rotom into Sucker Punch range, most likely, by allowing himself to take that Rock Slide. If he hadn't done that, he's got Gardevoir, who's probably faster than Tyranitar now. He's got Rotom, who's definitely faster than Mawile now. If he just stayed at 100% there, he'd be able to threaten both the same type attack bonus boosted, there's a tongue twister, attacks at both these Pokemon here, and really had control again. But I think the way he played that, he really needs some help here. He needs probably a Sucker Punch miss. Not miss, a miss target.
He needs a Zapdos. He needs an Agility Zapdos.
Where is it? Why didn't you use it? But yeah.
Get this man an Agility Zapdos!
He's going to need something really clever here to outsmart Christoph because he's likely in trouble here. I wouldn't be surprised to like a Will-O-Wisp and a Moonblast. I think that's probably the only play he can make to survive here. But he'd really need Christoph to walk into that one by leaving both Pokemon exposed here, which is something I am not expecting to occur.
All right, there is a Sucker Punch, but it fails. Rotom, Thunder Wave, nice call by Aaron, slowing down that Tyranitar, maybe also getting a potential paralysis. Wow, and the Will-O-Wisp onto Mawile. Oh my gosh, Aaron flipping the script right now. I don't think a burned Mawile is going to be able to get that Rotom with a Sucker Punch there, but the Rock Slide, oh, no luck on the paralysis. Unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, and the critical hit to Gardevoir. So a smart play by Aaron, but you can never beat the RNG, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to blame the RNG for that one. I mean, yeah, I guess he had a 25% chance of coming out of that turn with no damage, which probably would have won the game for him. But I don't know if I don't understand. I don't know. I guess that's probably the best option he had. Since he has Will-O-Wisp on Gardevoir instead of Rotom, he didn't really have the option of knocking out Tyranitar and burning Mawile, so he kind of had to go for it there. And sometimes the rolls just don't go your way. All
right, there it is. We do see the Sucker Punch, of course, from the Mawile. Fainting. Aaron's final Pokemon, Gardevoir, returning to Aaron Zhang, and I believe that Christoph has now taken game 2 of the series of 5 for Team Germany. That's crazy. We're on 1-1, Scott.
Yeah, really close series so far. Both cases, the first and the second game went to, or I guess both the first and second match went to 3 games. Both went to a third game where it was really, really up in the air who was going to win. I think we've kind of had 6 games so far where either side could easily have won, and I'm hoping the remaining 3 matches are as good as the first 2 have been, because it's been crazily close. Excellent play by both sides at points in that series, and really impressed by both players in that last match. They both kind of made a couple good reads that won them games, and the games they won, and Christoph was just able to make a few more good plays than Aaron was there.
Yeah, this has been really an insane series. Two out of 3s already. That's absolutely crazy. Now, I was hoping, the reason I mentioned the RNG is I was just hoping a little karma would come back Aaron's way, and maybe he'd get the paralysis there after that brutal flinch we saw on the prior turn, I believe, on that Rotom, who would have, I believe, taken out that Mawile, I think, Scott, right? With a potential overheat there?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would have, though. I guess part of the reason they were in that situation to begin with is because the Aerodactyl, who survived to the Focus Sash, had dodged a Rock Slide. So I guess, the Rock Slide giveth and the Rock Slide taketh away. Definitely kept the game interesting there, kind of creating big plays by both sides, once by missing and once by flinching. So I guess that's kind of the price you pay when you play Dragon Dance Tyranitar there with the extremely inaccurate but extremely powerful Rock Slide. So
Scott with a tongue twister today. If you probable play with the probable probability of hitting.
Yeah, I gotta use smaller words or something. Hopefully me trying to talk is just as exciting as this series is. Seriously though, great matches so far though. I'm really excited to see what we have next. I know Wolf versus Barris next should be really great, and excited to see what we get.
Yeah, definitely. 2 great competitors again. We can kind of go over a couple of these accolades here. Wolf, World's invites for 2011, 2012, 2013. Holy crap, that's no joke right there, man. First at U.S. Nationals in 2011, 2012. What am I reading off here? This is insane.
Yeah, definitely scarily accomplished. He's had a short career. Like, he started VGC with Generation 5, but pretty much every year he was, like I said, last year he had a little bit of an off year, but his first 2 years in this circuit were just amazing. His second year was pretty close to the best year anyone's ever had, with the national championship and the second place at Worlds. So certainly one of the most intimidating players in the world to come up against, and I'm really excited to see what he'll bring here. Wolf, definitely a player, is known as a bit of a showman, so I'm sure he'll have something interesting for us.
All right, I cannot wait. That, of course, is going to be Wolf Glick versus Barris Akos. In the next match, we are tied 1-1 here at the Nugget Bridge International Friendly, USA versus Germany, best of 5, tied up. I'm Justin Flynn, and this is Scott Glaza. We're going to take a quick break, guys. We'll see you in just a minute with the next match.